With all the failures we've seen from the Marvel Cinematic Universe over the past few years, I think it's safe to say most people are expecting the Marvels to follow that same trend, despite the fact that they recently did get some good news. No longer will it have to go in direct competition with something like Dune Part 2. Because of the Hollywood strike, they decided to move Dune until next year. They wanted their actors to do promotional tours, all of these things. Marvel, not so much. They said, we're sticking to this, even if we can't have our actresses out there promoting this movie. Some people might think that's a good thing because you're not going to have all these interviews with these actresses talking all about identity politics. Well, unfortunately for Marvel, the director is still out there doing interviews, and she is more than willing to do the job for them because immediately, in a big piece from Vanity Fair interviewing Nia DeCosta, the director of the Marvels, she confirms that all she wants to talk about as well is identity politics. The Marvel's director, Nia DeCosta, who would be the first black woman directing an MCU film, said she's most surprised at how much respect I'm getting from these middle-aged white dudes that I work with. Now, why would someone say that? Oh, well, it's because she made the entire interview about how oppressed she's been as a black woman in this industry and how hard it is for her to do anything. Yeah, you guessed it. This is the person who's directing the Marvels, and this is the person who's going to be doing the bulk of the promotional work for the Marvels. The Marvels director, Nia DeCosta, unsurprisingly plays racism and sexism card in promotion of the Marvels. The Marvel's director, Nia DeCosta, unsurprisingly played the racism and sexism card while promoting the upcoming film. It would not be a promotion for a Disney film without someone playing a victim, and DeCosta made sure the Marvels would not be an exception. Oh, and by the way, she also in this interview talked about how she's already prepared for the trolls. They're already making excuses for this fucking movie, and it's not even out yet, but that's how it works. Speaking with Vanity Fair, DeCosta stated, sometimes as a black woman, you realize that people think you take up more space than you actually do, or your voice sounds louder to people than it actually is, or your tone is more stern than it actually is. You don't think any men ever have problems with that? You don't think any white men ever struggle with people having that same interpretation? Must just be uniquely towards a black woman director. DeCosta added that some crew members on previous sets she worked on said things that are super inappropriate, that you would just never say to anyone else because they were so specific to my gender, my race, my age. While she didn't provide any examples, I'm sure she fucking didn't, Rebecca Ford made it clear none of this happened on the set of The Marvels. She had a very different experience on The Marvels, fortunately in part because she had the power to hire people she wanted for the team. What is that based solely on identity politics? Is that how you decided to hire people? That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? DeCosta said, I realized it wasn't ever going to be about how much power I amassed or how many great movies I made or if I won awards. It was always just going to be the people that I surrounded myself with. The thing I've been most surprised by lately is how much respect I'm getting from these middle-aged white dudes that I work with. You know, the real racism would be assuming that middle-aged white people are going to treat you a certain way. Every single one that you interact with, you assume that they're going to treat you like shit. That'd be the real racism, I think, Nia DeCosta, which is coming from you, which is unsurprising. But that's what this Vanity Fair article is all about. Nia DeCosta, barrier-breaking director of the Marvels, on navigating the blockbuster machine. And of course, we can't forget, like I mentioned earlier, that she's already preparing herself for trolls. In a new interview with Vanity Fair, filmmaker Nia DeCosta, the director of the upcoming superhero film The Marvels, talks about how she's preparing for the guaranteed backlash her film's going to have from the same people who campaigned against Captain Marvel. Not only does The Marvels feature the return of Brie Larson, but it features 2 other female characters. Basically, for those guys who hated Captain Marvel, there's so much more to get triggered by. I'm just girding myself for it, DeCosta said. I'm a sensitive soul, and I think maybe more of us are than we want to admit. They're literally already making excuses for this movie, trying to get out in front of it. Oh, these people, they just hate women. That must be the reason. They didn't have any problem with Wonder Woman, but for some reason, they're out in force against this movie. It's strange how that works, isn't it? If you had any doubts that because the actresses won't be involved, there won't be all these different interviews about identity politics and shit like that, they're going to piss off a fan base, don't worry. The director is right there to make everything about race, to make everything about gender, to make everything about how she's such a victim. That's how they're going to promote this movie. That's what Marvel is doing going forward. So, unsurprisingly, even without the actresses, there's already going to be some backlash for the Marvels months before it's released in theaters. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comment section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.